Good morning, Councillor. Gerald, do you mind if I call you
Of
Gerald?
course, yeah. I get called much worse than that.
I'm sure that you do. This goes with the territory, doesn't
does,
it?
yeah.
Listen, I see that you're embracing the whole event with you. I notice you've got a helmet with you for a bike.
Yep.
So you cycled here?
Yes. So from Southsea, so I thought I have to make the effort to come.
Absolutely respect. Well done.
Thank you. I've never cycled here before, so it's been really interesting to do the cycle route and to see things that I didn't know because I'd not done some of those cycle routes before.
Right. It's kind of what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or part of what it's all about. Now, can I ask you what the council are doing with this whole green energy thing for Portsmouth?
So we're doing a variety of different things. So we're a very big producer of electricity. So we have a lot of solar panels across buildings all around the city. I've got some on my house, which I've done myself.
Well, it's good that you say you're embracing it. It's,
yes,
you know,
well, it means we get free energy.
But you've also got to, sorry to interrupt, but you've also got to walk the talk, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, but the council's doing that. We're also working on a clean air zone because although air quality is getting better, it's not getting better fast enough for us to be able to avoid the government imposing a clean air zone on the city. So we're working to try to find ways of significantly reducing air pollution in the city. And then we have to cope with the fact that we've got rising sea levels and we're having to do a lot of sea defence work because we've got to defend the city from the rising sea levels and the increased size of storms.
I noticed that somewhere just the other day, actually. I'm trying to remember where I was. And actually, it was Nelly White somewhere, and I noticed that there was like a big, huge set of effectively concrete steps coming up out of the sea. And somebody said to me, "I wonder what they're for." That's a desperate Dan, you know. But when he's out swimming, but no, that's what we reckoned it was. It'll slow the water down. Yeah.
So at Southsea, we're having to rebuild the whole of the sea defences all the way down the beach, from Old Portsmouth all the way down to Eastney. Yeah. And that means using the beach to try to absorb some of the energy from the storms, but actually also burying concrete stuff underneath the beach, so that's the last line of defence. Right. And we're a flat city at sea level. Yeah. Rising sea levels is a really big problem for us.
Yeah, of course it is. But of course that's putting a sticky plaster on the actual problem, isn't it?
Yes, but we can't pick up Portsmouth and rebuild it on the top of the hill.
I know. And of course, it is one of the busiest cities in the UK.
Yeah, and very densely.
Second busiest?
Most densely populated city in the UK after London.
Yeah, so that's a lot of cars going up there.
Yeah.
So this whole exhibition today is really about that whole thing, about how we all have to engage in it.
Yes, yeah.
And I think what they say, it's if everybody does a little bit.
Yep.
What I would like to see is I'd like to see people stopping bombing each other. That could make a big difference.
Yes.
Or jets flying through the sky. All of these things, they make such a phenomenal
and yet people go away for 3 or 4 hour flight for a weekend nowadays. It is just what is normal. Yeah. And we just have to think of other ways of doing things. So one of the things we're doing at the council is to encourage people to get electric vehicles. A lot of Portsmouth has got terrace housing direct on the street with no off-street car parking. Yeah. So we're putting in charging points. When somebody buys an electric vehicle, we'll put a charging point in on the pavement very close to where they live, by the next lamppost.
You will?
Yeah,
the council will?
With a bay marked out for electric vehicles only. So that's an incentive to people.
That sure is an incentive.
Yeah.
It sure is an incentive. I really didn't know you were doing that, so there you go.
Good.
So the whole, I think if everybody does, I'm being facetious when I say about, stopping the wars and everything, although that'd be nice.
Yes.
If everybody does do a little bit, even I've started to walk into work in the morning. I live just along about a couple of miles away, and I've started to walk in when I can, but I'm getting on a bit, so I can't do it every day. And the other thing as well is that just this morning I used my recycled coffee cup to get it recharged. Now, that I don't know why everybody isn't doing that.
Yes, because we throw away billions of coffee cups.
Yeah.
And yet in Gosport, we have the company in the UK that makes disposable ones, but ones that are recyclable.
Yeah.
And we should be, if people aren't going to move to taking their own coffee cup around with them everywhere, hopefully companies will move to using a Gosport firm, so that those mugs can be are recycled every time.
Yeah, and it saves you money.
Absolutely.
I'm Scottish, it saves me 25 pence a day.